There is an African American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. And my
Little black book, you know what time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. We're going to be talking to you guys about this.
I'm going to tell them there's an African American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Excuse me?
You like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and make sure you click on that bell button for notification of the uploads, baby. And for those of you who are returnees, you ain't got the minerals, you ain't got the minerals. So yes, guys, if you guys have recently seen this video, it was out trending viral just a few hours ago actually. And what we see is an American white woman in the park with her dog and being basically calling the police after she's been challenged by an African American black man concerning her dog being off the leash, because it was a special type of park where the dogs could potentially mess up the reservoir, but mess up the environment in that particular area, right? I believe it was a bird kind of park where it's very delicate, right? The ecosystem there. And so obviously this black man has confronted a woman and obviously said, listen, put your dog on a leash. And then there ensues this encounter. All right, and so this woman who's in a park, actually eventually apologizes, but we don't care about apology. What we're caring about is what led her to that point. Okay, so when we have a society where there is power and there is privilege, and mankind himself is sinful, what you get is an abuse of this power. All right, this level of entitlement, all right, that she has is very disconcerting. All right. Now we see many officers and cops now killing unarmed black folk. We saw it the other week when we saw that the Ahmaud Arbery. It wasn't a cop, but it was necessarily white males in that sense. And this time we see a white woman, and this is what we call Karen, right? But we saw this a few years now. A couple trends on this, where there was a woman who called on a little girl, black girl, that was doing a lemonade stand. We saw a woman that was calling for people that were on the beach, having a barbecue. We've seen a few of these incidents now, where white women have utilized the police like their personal attack dog, right? And that comes from a place of privilege and a place of knowledge. And the reason why I say a place of knowledge is that you know exactly when you call the police what they're tending to do. So here's the thing. This woman that apologized, and she said about words, it's not about words, right? She knew exactly what she was doing. Look, when she called on the phone, what she could have said was, hey, look, I've got someone here who's trying to attack me. I've got a male here trying to attack me. But she specifically stated,
I'm going to tell them there's an African American man threatening my life.
I have an African American, I want you to understand this, I have an African American who is trying to impede on my space, who's filming me and trying to and insult and basically cussing and being aggressive with me and my dog. Yeah? Now I want you to understand this. She had no need to mention a race involved, but she understood when she mentioned race what would happen. That for me is premeditated. That for me shows an evil streak, and that for me shows that the person has thought about this and intentionally wants to use the police as their personal attack dog, right? Because she knows exactly how the police view the black man. Now, this is a twofold, because that also means that you understand what the police do is also incorrect, because you know exactly how they'll behave, which is with excessive force towards a black male. You were trying to teach him a lesson, and the reason why you were trying to teach him, and the reason why we and the thing about that is that as you're trying to teach him her lesson, right? You know the police are going to use excessive force. That means you've premeditated this. That means you've been conscientious in what you're doing. That means there's no way of saying that I didn't know. There's no way of saying that, hey, I made a mistake. No, you didn't make a mistake. You knew what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. You weren't frightened for your life. You weren't being impeded. You weren't being intruded upon. You were keeping a 3-4 meter distance anyway, especially with COVID. And then you still had the audacity, the entitlement, right? And the streak of evil to call the police on this man. Had he not been filming it, we don't know what could have happened. Not only that, we saw this with the white woman that with the FedEx, UPS where she was insinuating whether he actually works for UPS, and there's been break-ins recently, and etc. etc. And what we're seeing is this streak of racism that is born from a place of entitlement, and a lack of and ignorance, I should say as well, and a hatred. And so this hatred is often born from an ignorance. And I don't know how you can be ignorant being in America, being surrounded by black people. Then you realize a lot of times people make prejudicial opinions on not only just people, but races of people based on what they're fed. You see, the news has a very big part to play in this, because the way they portray us also counts towards how people feed a narrative. When you watch films, the way they portray us has a very big way of portraying us that forms a narrative in that person's head, right? When you look at any particular thing that is able to exude or bring about information to the public, they are responsible for how they make black people look, right? And they are also responsible for forming a narrative that shows that when police officers deal with us, they deal with us in a completely different way, right? Am I blaming just the news outlets? No. Her mindset was off completely. All right. I want to even just kind of add this, and you know, and this is where it's scary, because me telling you that you shouldn't have your dog, you should have your dog on a leash, turned into her also part of the conversation when she was calling. She actually started to raise her voice as if she was being attacked to get the police to come down urgently. Now, what does she want to happen? Ask yourself this question. What does she want to happen? When the police get there, what does she want to happen? Because why are you trying to raise your voice to say, and raise your voice, oh,
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
oh my God, and he's and as you're doing that, what you're trying to cause a person on the phone to do is say, this is an emergency. Wasn't even close to being an emergency. Wasn't even close. Had these officers been, I would say, not great officers, full of hatred, full of vitriol, full of false narratives about black people. It don't matter if this guy was filming it, he would have been dead. It wouldn't have mattered if he was holding the camera, he would have been dead. We've seen it already. Camera doesn't stop the atrocities happening. What camera is doing though nowadays is showing us that these things are happening more and more frequently. That these things can't go unnoticed and we can't ignore it no more. Okay, and so what we're seeing with these behaviors is the privilege and the entitlement of a white woman using her position in power, understanding her position and standing in society, and knowing how that can be used to twist the arm of a law-abiding, can be twist the arm of those who are police officers to use as an attack dog. That's the generation we're in. And so someone can tell me that racism has ended, or that we shouldn't talk about slavery anymore. I'm offended when you say that. I hear black people saying it, I hear white people saying it, I hear other races saying it. I'm offended when you say that, because you're not in a situation, because you're not seeing the things that we're seeing right now. But now we've got these cameras, we're starting to see this right in front of your eye. You can no longer ignore the obvious story and truth that you're seeing. Yeah? You know, we are so far away from maybe the lynchings that we've forgotten how easy it was for white people to kill black people in the open space, right? And call it justice, right? Now we've switched it now to systematic racism that still gets us killed, yeah? So now it's not lynching, it's now calling the police to get us killed. Do you see it? So her apology, I always say this as well, your apology is nothing. What we need from you is now to put the work in. I want to see you on Black Lives Matter front. I want to see you in front of crusades. I want to see you in the front of protests. I want to see you on the news talking against these kind of events. I want to see you campaigning. Your sorry doesn't mean anything until I see a change. So, yes, guys, we are seeing a new... Do you know what? It's been happening for the last few years, but I'm just saying that there's something shifting, yeah? And I always say this, revolution doesn't come without blood. You want things to evolve and evolve, blood always happens. When we saw Martin Luther King and they had Malcolm X times, there was blood. People were beaten, lynched, I should say lynched, but people were beaten, you know, killed, you know, and it wasn't free. Our freedom wasn't free. Am I encouraging people to do that? No. What I'm saying is that revolution doesn't come without blood, you know, and this is going to incite certain things. And when justice is not met, and it's not met for a long time, people begin to rise. And so it's kind of scary to see this, but you know what? We tired. We tired. We tired. We tired. Alright guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked and loaded.